that God's name does not get blasphemed. You know, sometimes it's so hard, isn't it, to live it in all the little small details? One time I got a letter from the school, and I didn't really like it too much. So I thought I'd call the principal and let her know what I thought about that situation, because, you know, the mama bear came out in me, and I didn't really appreciate it. So I'm getting all ticked off, and I'm getting all riled up. I'm pushing, you know, you have to push this extension and this number, and then you get the secretary, and, you know, so I'm getting more steamed as I'm sitting there waiting to talk on the phone. And, you know, I had every right to get ticked off and tell her what I thought about the situation. So she gets on the phone. Oh, man. The first thing out of her mouth was, "Oh, Mrs. Spencer, how is the church going? I've heard so many great things about the church." God, you're just no fun sometimes. I had to totally recompose myself and take a whole nother angle. I had to live it, even in that situation. You know, there's so many times. How about in the grocery line? When the person in front of you, you just want to like kind of jump over the cart and help them because they're, Actually, don't get behind me because I have an order. There's like a system putting my stuff on the conveyor belt. Like my husband's not allowed to go because he just throws everything out there. No, there's boxes and there's cans and the bread stays back at the end, you know. There's a system. But anyways, when you're in that grocery line and you just want to just tell somebody off, when are we supposed to live it? At all times, in every occasion, we're supposed to live it. So another reason, why should I have to live it? Why me? Nobody even notices me. I can get away with anything. I'm insignificant. So that we don't give anyone anything evil that is valid to say about us. So that we don't just hand the devil the tools to use against us. So that we're not helping him any more than he's already doing a good job at it. Titus 2:7-8. In all things, showing yourself to be a pattern, in all things, showing yourself to be a pattern of good works. Do you know that a pattern goes on and on and on and on? A pattern of good works. In doctrine, showing integrity, reverence, incorruptibility, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that one who is an opponent may be ashamed, having nothing evil to say of you. It's one thing if it's true and we've given him those things. It's another thing if it's not valid, we can stand clean before the Lord. But why give him opportunity to bring accusation against us? Why give him valid things to use against us? 1 Peter 2:11-12. This is God telling us how we should live before the world, in our homes and in any situation, how we should live. Beloved, I beg you, as sojourners and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul, having your conduct be honorable among the Gentiles, which was the world, that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may, by your good works which they observe, glorify God in the day of visitation. So don't give them anything. A good reason to live it is so they can't throw anything up in your face. You know, if we're not living it, they're going to throw it up and we're going to be like, uh-oh. Now I'm feeling a little condemned and convicted at the same time. Another reason why we should live it. Why? So you don't negate yourself. So you don't negate yourself. In 2 Corinthians 6:3, it says, we give no offense in anything, that our ministry may not be blamed, so that we don't negate ourselves. And in Romans 14:21-22, it is good neither to eat meat, nor to drink wine, nor do anything by which your brother stumbles, or is offended, or is made weak. Do you have faith? Have it to yourself before God. Happy is he who does not condemn himself in what he approves. So don't do things that will negate yourself. That's why God tells us to live it. He doesn't just say, because I said so. There's really valid reasons. Because it affects you, it affects others, and it affects God. So you are not an island unto yourself, and your choices aren't your own choices. They affect people around you. They affect those that are watching, because you know what? They are watching. They are watching. And then, so that we don't hinder others from coming to God. How many of you have ever seen a really bad Christian example before? And it caused you to want nothing to do with God. So a good reason this year when we're learning about living to do it is so that we don't hinder anyone from coming to God through our choices, our actions, and our behavior. 1 Corinthians 10:32 says, "Do not let yourselves be hindrances by giving an offense to the Jews or to the Greeks, to the church of God. Do not lead others into sin by your mode of life." And then 1 Corinthians 6:12 tells us that we're supposed to glorify God in our body and spirit. So guess what? All things are lawful for me, but all things are not helpful. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of anything. So sometimes you just don't do things because it may offend somebody else. It may cause them to stumble. It may cause them to fall. So just because everything's lawful doesn't mean we can go out and do whatever we want to do, because we have to think about first how it's going to affect us, how it's going to affect others, and how it's going to affect our God. And again in 1 Corinthians 10:23, it says it again. He repeats himself. All to the glory of God. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but not all things edify. So we should stop and think, is this going to be a good example? Is this going to edify the people that may see me in this situation? We've got to be careful of hindering others in coming to Jesus. Because remember, many of us came because of somebody's example that was seen. But many don't come because of hindrances and some of the choices and the things that we do. Matthew 18:6 warns us of offenses. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to sin, well, we're just going to leave it there, because it goes on and on. Yeah, it gets pretty rough. So in other words, we should really be careful of causing the little ones, the younger ones in the faith, of sinning. Yes, it might not be sin to you. It might be perfectly fine for you to do something. But if it's going to affect a young Christian, maybe we don't have to do that. Maybe we don't have to. If it's going to cause somebody to sin and stumble, just maybe we don't have to do that. You know, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. Did you hear me? Example is not the main thing in influencing. Your example, your living it, your being an example of the believer isn't the main thing. It is the only thing. I have known many people who say one thing and do another. Do you know those kind of people? They say one thing and you can pretty much count on them doing the opposite. You know, do as I say, not as I do, doesn't work. They see what you do, not what you say. Your life is an example. So, I spent some time, I made a gift for everybody. Yeah, hold on, I'm going to put it on. Oops. Here, I'll try to get it. There we go. I've labeled these safety pins with EX, you know, in letters and documents and stuff. They use the abbreviation EX, for example. Every single one of us, whether we like it or not, we are examples examples echo, especially in our homes.